Hello, welcome back. It's week 72 on Out on That Line. I'm Geoff with my co-host Alex. As always, Alex, how you doing this week?
I'm feeling pretty optimistic about our chances for a great episode today, Geoff. We're kind of in the pocket. We always do a sync up countdown to get this started. That was very smooth. I think
That was tight.
Yeah, it was tight. I think this bodes well for the rest of the episode. It's a good omen here on Out on That Line.
Yes, I think I completely concur. So we have, if you've listened to the episode last week, folks, we made some predictions for the Grammys and who we thought we were going to win in certain categories. So the Grammys happened. There were some great performances. Overall, I think Grammys have gotten a lot better in recent years. I think they're actually an interesting watch. I think they have a lot more young artists come up and, the up and coming people come up that are more exciting instead of more of the legacy acts. I think they do a good job skewing more towards like showing people what's on the horizon rather than, what's on, time gone by already. So do you have your information ready?
Yes.
We're going to see how good we did with our picks. So I don't know if the order that they have on this website that I'm looking at has them in the same order that we chose. So I'm just going to give you the category and give you a second to figure out where that is.
Yep.
So the first one they have here is Record of the Year. Record of the Year.
How do we want to do this? What we said and then what won?
Yes,
Probably
I think
the
that's
best way
a
to do
good.
it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay. For Record of the Year, Grammys 2022, I picked Driver's License, Olivia Rodrigo. Geoff picked Montero, Lil Nas X.
We were both wrong. This one went to our boys in Silk Sonic for Leave the Door Open.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. An upset you love to see.
What, and we tried to figure this out, right? Because obviously best song is, we know what it is, but there's a distinction between record and album. Album's like everyone that did it, and I think record is like more producer specific.
So record, I think, is producers. It's like the production team that created the song, built it once it was written.
Okay.
The song of the year, I think, is the songwriter.
Okay.
The songwriting team that did it. So whoever incepted the idea for song of the year brought the idea to fruition for record of the year, I think is
Got it.
how I kind of understand that. So we were wrong on that one, but the next category, let's see if we get a little redemption here. It's song of the year.
I said, quite erroneously, because I do remember this, I said Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish, and you said Driver's License by Olivia Rodrigo.
And once again, we were both wrong. This one also went to Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic. Record and song of the year.
Oh,
how about it?
Baby.
Yeah. Did you see them when they got up to receive the first one?
No, I haven't seen shit. I didn't watch anything from this.
Yeah, you got to watch their whole acceptance. It was incredible. So they get the award. They're both just sitting at this circular table, very 70s lounge ambiance around them. And then they both just get up and do put their hands out and do a little spin slide out of their seats to go up and get the award. Anderson .Paak has his hair done like Ike Turner, and he's just shaking it Ike Turner did the whole time. Bruno Mars is up there on stage with a cigarette in hand, just puffing away. Just the coolest dudes you've ever seen in your life, man.
A whole entire act at this point, dude. Their commitment to the bit. Here's the thing. When we reviewed that album, we were like, what are the chances we're going to get more of this? I feel pretty comfortable saying we're going to get a lot more of this. And I'm going to fucking Expelliarmus in my jeans. I can't wait.
Oh, it is magic, isn't it?
It
is magic.
Pure 24 karat gold magic.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to what they do. I think they are fully committed. I saw a lot of tweets that generally were saying, that Coke be hitting for those boys. Because I think there might be a lot of that going on.
Hey, you know what? Don't fuck with the formula.
Yeah, Bruno Mars has pretty famously been a fan of the booger sugar, so...
the only other element we got to get in here now is The Weeknd. If we're doing a cocaine trio, you got to get him in there.
Man, The Weeknd was Silk Sonic.
Can you imagine?
Can we imagine Thundercat on bass
I
with it?
was just about to say, we already
Buddy.
got him with Thundercat.
Yeah, buddy. We got to write a letter to somebody.
Yes, post haste. I think Bootsy Collins probably.
Well, maybe we got to write the song, and then we can get, for Song of the Year, get ourselves a Grammy.
Yeah. I like this. Next year, it'll be us. Make sure we predict ourselves.
Yeah, note it. Put that, we're talking predictions here. Write that one down, listeners.
The song is called
next year.
Not a Dry Seat in the House. And it's going to smash global records.
Oh, man. I don't think even with the Montpelier flood of 1927 flooded that many basements. Nope. You know what I'm saying?
Hiya!
Next category, Album of the Year.
We both said Taylor Swift, Evermore.
And we were both thankfully wrong. So we were happily wrong with Record and Song of the Year. Thankfully, Taylor Swift did not win this one. But someone else did that I think was like the underdog on this one is Jon Batiste with his album We Are.
Did you listen to that album?
I have not listened to that album, but maybe we need to, Alex.
I feel like we have to. I listened to one song from it, and I will totally admit it started. I just picked a random one. It started, and I was like, yeah, this is the best album winner? I don't know. But there is some kind of, delayed reaction spice in at least that song, that by the end of it, I was totally invested. So I think it might be one of those things. So yeah, I'd love to check that out.
Yeah, well, we can discuss when we're going to get that one on the air. And if any of y'all are familiar with that album, let us know. If there are certain songs or something that you think are stronger than others, let us know what you think. Now, next category, Best New Artist. Now, I will say, I'll preface this where I think we mentioned Glass Animals.
Yeah.
Not being a new artist. I don't know if we mentioned it like on the show or when we were talking about it before the show. But I looked it up, and I think their first album came out in like 2010 or 12.
Yeah,
like a long time ago.
They're no way new. I think we talked about this, and also Japanese Breakfast.
Yeah.
Also not new.
Yeah, so very strange to have them nominated. I didn't bother looking up the other people there, but Phineas, I mean, maybe he just hadn't done any solo stuff. But I mean, Billie Eilish has been around for a few years now. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where I'd be interested to see what their criteria is, because they were very specific about it for Record and Song of the Year that made it easy to figure out which is which.
Yeah.
But Best New Artist, I don't remember any like real language being on there about how that gets chosen for who's nominated. But go ahead and let us know who we selected for that.
And I am wondering if you had to chart. If these are all acts that charted in some way.
That could be maybe like your Billboard
it's your
top
first
200
chart
debut
hit.
Or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that might be what it is. Could be.
We'll have to look that up. But we both gave it to our girl, Olivia Rodrigo.
And my friend, I have good news for both of us. It did go to Miss Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh yeah, well deserved.
Yeah. Well deserved. And I think hopefully more and more to come from her, because that was such a strong album. Sour was so good that hopefully we continue to get stuff of that level from her. Now next, Best Pop Solo Performance. Was this one that we had chosen?
Yes, we did. I had Ariana Grande for whatever she did. And Olivia Rodrigo, you had Olivia Rodrigo for Driver's License.
Well, you can chalk this one up for me, my friend, because Olivia Rodrigo did win that one for Driver's License.
Okay, I'm good with that.
But I think that was just one where it's like, we wanted to get a little something else in the mix.
Yeah.
Instead of picking the same things all the time. But yeah, Olivia Rodrigo, she did it. You can go listen to our episode about Driver's License, folks. You can go do that right after this one. Just scroll down and you'll see it. Best Pop Duo or Group Performance.
I don't think we did that one.
Well, we didn't pick it, but you'll be happy to hear that Doja Cat and SZA won for Kiss Me More.
I did see that on Instagram because I follow both of them.
Hopefully that makes it so Doja Cat doesn't want to quit music anymore.
I hope so. I was very sad when I read that. I don't think she really meant it, but it's sad to know that I think she definitely felt it. So that sucks. What happened with best rock performance?
Well, I'll let you guess because I haven't scrolled down far enough, but I know who won it. There it is. I found it.
Okay. Sorry, I kind of sprung that on you.
Yeah. But I know who won it as soon as you said it. I just needed the confirmation here, and I have it.
We both went for the Foos, and the Foos took it.
The Foos took it. That's one of those times you just don't want to be right. And they did the same for Best Rock Song and Best Rock Album. So they had clean sweep the rock categories. But who didn't see that coming?
Yeah, and I forget who they were up against. I mean, I know in one case it was 13-year-old Chris Cornell songs was one of the options. So
Yep. Yeah, Best Rock Album, it was Paul McCartney's McCartney 3, Power Up by AC/DC. That album sucked. Capital Cuts, Live from Studio A by the Black Pumas. No One Sings Like You Anymore, Volume 1 by Chris Cornell, and then Foo Fighters' Medicine at Midnight, which was the winner.
It was always going to be that Foos, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there was no, I mean, what else are you going to pick there?
Yep. What are you going to foo?
Yeah, what are you going to foo? What other ones did we have picks for? Were there anything further?
I think country performance.
Country solo performance?
Yes.
Okay. Who did we choose for that?
I had Spacey Casey and you had Chris Stapleton.
Well, my friend, it was Chris Stapleton. I am right again.
Makes sense.
I am right again.
You're frequently correct.
Probably leave. Yeah, I think I just have watched so many Grammys shows that it's just, for me, I probably just can tell which one they're going to pick. Did we have anything further?
We had solo rap performance.
Okay.
I said Cardi B. You said Hot Girl Meg.
Let's see. Best solo. We were both wrong. It was Family Ties by Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting.
I think that was one that I think was always going to be a toss-up. I think the only one that would have really surprised me would have been the J. Cole song.
Yeah. That's the thing. I think I recall us discussing this category, and we were like, Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, safe bets. But what do you know? What do you say? What do you know?
Yep. And I'm sure we did Best Rap Album.
We did R&B, and I bet I know what won that.
Which one won that one?
We both said our old friend Silky Smooth Sonic.
So Best R&B Performance was a tie.
Ooh, okay.
Between Silk Sonic and Jasmine Sullivan.
Yo, Hotels is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
That's a really solid album. You should listen to that.
Yes, it is. I've listened to it. It is very good.
It's fucking great.
Yeah. Yes. Silk Sonic also won Best R&B Song, Leave the Door Open. Best R&B Album, Jasmine Sullivan, Hotels.
Well deserved.
So she did that. Let's see. Best Country Album, Starting Over by Chris Stapleton. We have an episode on that album, don't we, Alex?
I think you're right, Jeff. I think we might.
I think we do. So, go ahead and back and listen to that. Let's see. There was one more that I wanted to point out. Best American Roots Performance, John Baptiste won that as well. So, I think, Best Rap Song was Jail by Kanye West.
He snuck one in there.
He snuck one in there. But yeah, Best Rap Album, Tyler, the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost.
Oh, awesome. I think that was my album of the year last year, right? End of year awards, which we also have an episode on.
Yes, that was a hell of an album.
Yeah,
and I think with the albums it was up against, The Off Season by J. Cole, Certified Lover Boy by Drake, King's Disease 2 by Nas, and Donda by Kanye West. I mean, the obvious choice was Call Me If You Get Lost. Yeah. I mean, the rest aren't even close.
No. Nope.
So yeah, that's Olivia Rodrigo won Best Pop Album.
I like
Sour.
I like it.
Yeah, so I think that wraps it up for the Grammys. I think we had a few right answers, we had a few wrong answers.
You know what else we had a lot of? Fun.
So that wraps up our Grammy picks. I hope you all followed along and had just as good a time with those as we did. And now we have an album to talk about this week. Somebody that we've talked about a lot on the podcast, but I don't think we've ever dedicated anything specifically to her, have we?
No, she's come up a bunch, but we've never. I think we both ended up doing reaction videos for singles for her,
Yes.
but I think that's as far as it's gone, other than the odd mention.
Yes. So about time, long overdue. We have Maren Morris and her new album, Humble Quest. This one just came out. Singles started getting released around like early January, I'm pretty sure. And the album itself released March 25th, so just a few weeks ago. So we're going to do our normal 6 songs. We each picked 3 that we thought were interesting enough to talk about. And without further ado, should we just get started?
Yeah, let's jump right in.
Okay. So the first song, Circles Around This Town, on the album. This was one of my picks, and this was your classic country song where you don't have much to say, but you have a really killer melody, and you gotta do something with it. And that's for me, I was like, this showcased, her voice, showcased, like, it was very pleasant. She got like a very warm kind of feeling to her voice.
Yes.
It's a very soothing experience to listen to her. And she can like reach up into the rafters with her range as well. She's got a very dynamic voice, so it's always going to be interesting. But it's a song about trying to write a song to give you success and allow people, and so people will allow you to write more songs. So it's like a very meta thing. We were talking about that with Charlie XCX last week. I think it's clever when they do this. It's like the Blues Traveler song, The Hook.
Oh yeah.
It's just like a song about nothing, and they're just telling you, it's like, this is how I write a song. And it's just, when you have a melody like that, you got to put it into the world.
Yep. Suck it in, suck it in, suck it in till you're Rin Tin Tin. Like,
yeah.
What is that supposed to mean? I have no fucking clue. John Popper is probably on poppers that I can't. Jalapeno and drugs. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed this song for exactly the reason that you said. It was just, it was a potato chip, and a great potato chip. And I don't even like chips, but it's the kind of chip where I go, that is a good ass potato chip. Mm-hmm. I approached this entire album from the point of view of a nice, gentle reset for the podcast. Mm-hmm. We've done some really ambitious stuff. We've done some very challenging stuff. We've had stuff that was really tough to talk about. But I think, what's the pocket for us? What's our origin? It's those country music gals. Mm-hmm. We always find a real positive episode through one of those acts. And I think I tried to approach the Maren Morris album from the perspective of hard reset. I'm just having fun. I'm turning the brain off and the heart on. That's what I'm doing.
Yes. So I looked at this album as if the timeline had split after Golden Hour, and Casey Musgraves, there was 2 things she could do. Was go towards Starcrossed, which is what she did, at least in our timeline, or she could have gone with what Maren Morris did with Humble Quest, where this is a lot more centered in country music. She's definitely a pop singer. Like, she's one of those ones, like a Carrie Underwood or any of those, that has the voice, and I think the just musical chops to do whatever kind of music she wants to do. It happens to be that country music is the way she came up. But she's always been known for having a big time voice. And I think that's part of this song, the way they go right from the verse into the chorus, but they make the first part of the chorus the end of the sentence in the last sentence of the verse. It's that clever, like, just like really streamline it all together. It's a lot of those songwriting tricks that I'm sure all the veterans love. It's a song about nothing. It's about trying to write a song, but God damn it, is it pleasant to listen to.
Like you said, she's got a really warm voice, and it can absolutely shake the rafters when she chooses to do that. So it's a showcase for her voice. It's very pleasant because of that. It's a well-constructed song, where Casey Musgraves has kind of that like flinty, kind of more girlish sound. Maren is coming at it with both barrels. And that, I think, if we're going to follow this idea that it's got similar vibes to Golden Hour, which it absolutely does, and they're not directly comparable, but if we're going to look at this as maybe like Maren Morris's Golden Hour, I think the thing that makes it really different is the songwriting and the instrumentation, the choices there that Casey Musgraves makes were more cosmic, were more poppy without losing its country flavor. But Humble Quest is country through and through. I mean, it's never gets into tan lines and tailgates, as we like to say, but it is a country album through and through. So they approach these same kind of things from completely different perspectives, and that is what I appreciate.
Yes, and we'll move right along to the title track from the album Humble Quest, and this was one of your picks.
I felt like this was an important thing to talk about because it was the title track, so it obviously has some kind of significance. And for me, it's the lyric I zeroed in on, the line between fulfilled and full of yourself. It's an interesting approach to a song where she's talking about, I have to advocate for myself, so I had to become a bulldog and my own advocate. And when I found out I had a voice, I started using it for other people, but I did it in a very obnoxious way, and I realized that I was overshadowing the people that I was trying to help. The ally I was trying to be was not a fully perfect one. So I realized that the best thing that I can do is pull back, listen to other people, and use my voice when I'm deployed. Don't do it for self-aggrandization. So it was an interesting, like, the thoughts that she has on this album are very interesting, and all the different stories behind them, and we'll get to like what stories are behind what songs. But for me, Humble Quest was the mission statement. It's musically does what she does really well, deploys the harmonies, but it's an otherwise standard country pop track that doesn't really stand out. It's just important to the conversation.
Yeah. I think it's, there's a lot of times there's like, you can have a song that's like, this one in particular is like a girl power song. Like, how do I support people the best that I can? And I think there's like, you go like way too much into that and you end up sounding like a cheerleader. She does a great job here with the acknowledgement that's like, how do I use my voice the best? And it may not be how my first instinct was to do this, but it's like, if I'm going to help and be of use, I have to step back, like you said, and really assess what it is that I can help them with, or what I can help the world do better. I think it's the question of standing up was enough of a battle. How do I not cast a shadow? It's a really cool couplet there that illustrates, I think, that struggle that she has with, I'm big enough now that I could really steamroll some things and get some things done for people, but is that really the best solution and way to do that?
Yeah, and that's, again, that is an interesting thing to use to anchor this album. If you want to treat it like a concept album, we always are like wary of designating something that when it isn't explicitly that. But if you want to look at it as a bunch of different concepts, because it's the stories behind the songs, that's an interesting one to make like the flagship concept. Because it comes down to like growth, self-growth. Like Casey Musgraves in Golden Hour was reveling in her life in that moment. And Maren Morris is taking stock of where she's been and where she's at now. And again, those two very different approaches that make each album an interesting comparison.
Yep, absolutely. The next song, another one of your picks, background music.
I've been doing a lot of talking. Do you want to kick this one off? I don't want to catch you off guard, but
no, that's fine, because I like this song quite a bit. I don't know how you felt about it. We're gonna find out in a minute, I guess. But I think another one where she's good at those like kind of clever lyrics. Where either it's the way she flows it into the chorus or just the way that she uses the words within the sentences. The line in the chorus that, I'll love you till all we are is background music. It's the idea that it's like, we call it forever, but we know that there's an end to it. We got time, but we're only human. You and I can dance our way through it. So it's like ignoring the fact that this is all going to come to an end and kind of living in the moment. It's a really nice sentiment and something that I really, it's one I went back to a few times because I was like, I like this song quite a bit.
I think this is potentially the best, not even potentially, to me, this is the best written and executed song on this album. This is my runaway favorite because it is the absolute perfect distillation of Maren Morris and what she's capable of. Again, it's a great sentiment that she's singing about, Eventually no one's going to remember who Ryan Hurd, her husband, and Maren Morris were, because we'll get old and become legacy acts and, just kind of do our own thing. But what a ride it's going to be until then. I'll love you until we're background music. It's great. It's perfect. It's right in the pocket. Not too much of a thinker, but something we can all relate to. And then it's just like the way that this song is built is perfect. She gets to show out vocally by being like very sweet and then hitting the rafters, that crazy bright voice that she's got. There's nice dynamism. She knows when to give and take. This song isn't in a hurry. It's not like no one part of it is drawing focus from the other. It's just like the excellence of execution. It's like the perfect song on the album.
Yeah, I think her level of polish as a singer and songwriter is, I mean, I and she's not very old, right? Isn't she like maybe around our age, like mid-30s?
Yeah, I think she's my age, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's like incredible to be that. And then they have a quote about this song, and that's why I love the lyrics on Genius, is because they always have such good like background stuff about it. But they talk about, her and Ryan Hurd were discussing that you get maybe a 10-year run in Nashville if you're lucky. And then you move on, then you become a legacy act and you play casinos. And she's like, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just the total acceptance that it's like, you're not going to be the one that like changes the game and becomes, the most cutting edge for the next 50 years. Nobody does that. You're cutting edge for a little while. You're the hot tamale for a little while, but then it cools down and someone else is the hot tamale. And I think the difference between people that are successful in life and just successful in their career is not acknowledging that, is not realizing that it's like, yeah, take advantage of your moment while you have it so that it lasts as long as possible, but understand it's going to be over at some point. You're not going to be the new hit thing in town. Somebody else is going to be. That's how the world works, and that's how it goes. Like, there's very few people that have a legacy like an Elvis or something like that. Think of how many of those exist versus how many of the next tier exist versus exponentially more in the next tier after that. It's just, it doesn't last forever. And I think songs like this, where they acknowledge that and make it sound this good, are really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just like, again, perfectly executed. I love it. I think musically it's the best one. And I think lyrically, I think it's got it all. I think this is far and away my favorite, and I would go out and I'd hang my ass out the pocket to say the best one.
Yes. I think I might say one that we're going to talk about, one of the two remaining after this next one, would be my favorite, but we'll get to that. The next one is Nervous, and this was completely shameless by me because this was one of my reaction videos. So if you haven't seen that one, make sure you go to YouTube and check it out. You'll get to hear the song and get to see my reaction about it. I felt like this one was the most like dead aim at trying to write like a pop song. Like, this was the one that's like meant to be like your radio hit.
I can see that. I focused on the complete different aspect, which is the fact that it's a song about throwing hip. Little toe curling. It's, I looked at that and I'm like, okay, it's very descriptive lyrical content about being intimidated by someone's sexual prowess. But what takes it from just being the sex song on the album is there's this really cool, and I'm like really digging down here, there's this phonetic symmetry between the verses, where in the first verse she ends the lines with nervous, service, working, surface, and then the second verse, purpose, cursive, person. It's like a fun little touch that she keeps the same kind of sounds consistent and like finds a way to work in that framework. Like, that's a very cool thing that's been done with this song. So whether or not it was meant to be the pop hit, which I could totally see when you say it, it's got like, again, it's got more going for it than just being like, the song about banging.
Yeah. And this is one of the, I think, few songs on the album where she really lets her voice rip.
Yeah, yeah.
Like on the chorus, this is one of the few on the album. She needs to do it more because she could seriously sing.
Yeah. absolutely. When she hits notes
Yeah.
like she hits in background music at the end,
Hmm.
we got time. Like,
Oh yeah.
just send it. Full send.
Yeah. Yeah. She needs to do that a lot more often. But the next song is Hummingbird. And this one is one that she wrote, obviously, about her kid. And one of her kids, did she have one or two? I don't remember.
I don't know.
But either way, it's just a very, very like lightweight, airy kind of song. But the sentiment of it is just, imagine being like Maren Morris's kid when they get old enough to hear this song and fully like understand what it means and that it's about you.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be such a cool experience.
Like, damn, my mom loves me.
Yeah.
This one, elegant in its simplicity, cute, personal intro of her talking to her kid, Mama. It's just a tender song. It's soft. It's got like the most it kind of steps out and gets any kind of, experimental, not experimental, but like kind of more like bombastic, is there's a steel guitar in the background that's just like a coyote in the distance a couple times. But other than that, it's just soft acoustic and really tight harmonies that drive this little guy. Like, it's perfect. It's like part lullaby and part, tribute to this kid that changed her life.
Yes. Yeah. I like this one quite a bit. This was one that it really, just, I don't know, just made you feel really good. I don't know what else about it. It's just like when you allow it to kind of just wash into you a little bit, it really does. I don't know, has a really pleasant sound, pleasant feeling to it. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I love that line. Now your heart beats in me.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. See, stuff like that, it just gets you.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Wonderful stuff. Now the last pick and also the last song on the album, What Would This World Do, is one of yours.
So this was written in tribute to Michael Busby, who was a producer that Maren Morris worked with and was obviously close with. He was diagnosed with glioblastoma and died at age 43. And this is a tribute to him. As she describes it, she worked on it as like, maybe if we, do a good enough job with the song, it means we won't lose him. Like, knowing that's not true, but this was like all they could do when their friend was essentially handed a death sentence. So they I think successfully created this, like, the 5 stages of grieving in a song, where it's like the stars endure, wheels turn, things keep on moving. But what would happen if we lost you? What would this world do? So someone that's that important to you is gone. You can't believe that the world would still turn. It's going to, but you don't want to think about how much that world is going to be a worse place without this person.
Yeah. And this one, I mean, right up there with Hummingbird as far as just the emotional weight behind it. Obviously the Hummingbird about new life, and what would this world do about one less. And just the way the lines that they used, I mean, the leaves will turn when the air gets cold and the birds will fly to Mexico, but there's answers I don't want to know. Like, what would this world do without you? And the way they hit that melody line, and they do go through the verse itself, and then that melody, that what would this world do without you, almost works like the chorus at the end of every single verse. And it's coming, but when they slide into it, it's just so pleasant. And the way their voices, because I think Ryan Hurd is on background vocals on this one, I think.
Yeah.
Clearly they have a connection, clearly, because the way that they can play off of each other, harmonically, is just really, really, really beautiful in this song.
When they get really personal and open up on that bridge, I got fucking chills when those two are hitting those harmonies. It's just that giant outpouring, like that bridge where it's talking about, I'll hang up the Polaroids of us. I'm going to drink all the wine you gave me at my wedding. It's like, okay, well, they were close enough to be wetting it up and drinking wine and doing Polaroid stuff. So clearly this is an important person. But the thing is, the song is like appropriately mournful without getting bogged down in it. It's more of a celebration than a dirge.
Yeah.
It's a very moving tribute. Ryan Hurd, God love you on those harmonies. He does a great job.
Yeah.
There's no gloss to this. It's very rustic. It's just like, I think a perfect tribute to this friend of theirs.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a perfect album ender.
Yeah. Because you can't come back from this. Like you can call it a downer ending on the song like this. I don't think that's true. It's so beautiful and it's so moving that I think there was no coming back after this. You had to end it with this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that was the right way to do it. Overall, this album I thought was, I think is going to further her in the conversation of the best, female country artists out there right now. I think this album had, there were some spots on it where I was like, that's really, pretty cliche kind of stuff. There was a lot of that really cliche country, kind of not outlaw country, but like not the tailgates and tan lines country, very much like the heartland,
the Nashville sound. Yeah.
Yeah. The Nashville, like it's just, there was a lot of that on there, but there was so much to really dig into and love on this album that it gets a hearty, solid stream it for me.
Yeah, it was a celebration of human vulnerability. She wrote parts of this during the pandemic, parts when she was suffering postpartum depression, part after finding out about Michael Busby. Like, there's a lot of different elements that went into this album, so it's very reflective, very vulnerable. I would also say stream it, but if we're talking about clunkers, I got a shout out in particular. Tall Guys.
Oh God,
that song sucks.
I was wondering if you were gonna bring that up because goddamn, is Ryan Hurd like super tall?
No, he's 6'3". She's just super short. She's like 5'1".
Well, buddy, now we have to tell the listeners that you are what 6'4",
6'3",
6'3". Yeah, so you're like, oh, it's not that tall, buddy.
I don't think it is.
I see the game you're playing. It's not tall to you. I'm sitting over here at 6'1", but when I used to walk down the street with you and Dante and Rory, I'd look like a little guy. I'm 6'1".
This is a
sitting here saying 6'3" is not that tall.
Well, because it's the same thing. Dante and Rory, I think, are 6'4". You know how insecure I am about that?
Well, I think she's like 4'5".
She is a tiny little nugget, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's probably got something to do with it. Yeah, but that song sucks.
Yeah.
The first time I heard it, I was like, wait, is this real?
It's piss poor. We get it. You're short and you like to have sex with your tall husband. Great. Sounds great. We get it.
We're always drinking top shelf because he can always reach it. And we fly first class because it's the only way his knees fit.
Oh my God, dude. Effort clearly went into it, but boy, it's the stinker on the album.
She was just, I think when she wrote this song, she was just like capital H horny.
Yeah, she had the horn real bad.
Yeah, capital H.
Yep.
Can't falter for it, He's a good looking dude. Can't falter for it.
And no one's written a song about me,
That you know of.
Yeah. The douchebag that never texted me back. I'm just kidding. Women don't text me.
They will someday.
Maybe.
They will.
Just staring out the window like Fievel. Somewhere out there. Please just text me back.
Well, I think we're coming up on the end of things here.
Yeah.
For this episode, is there anything that you want to talk about?
I think we always got to be pumping that YouTube.
Oh yes.
Always be pumping that tube. You can find us at youtube.com/C/out on that line. Boom, boom, nailed it. Frank Zappa. But we've got the link in our Instagram bio, which is out on that line, at out on that line. We pretty much make it impossible not to find us. We're out there. Mm-hmm. You got to subscribe to the YouTube. You got to make sure your notifications are turned on so we come up with new stuff. You're the first to hear about it.
Yes.
Got all kinds of videos. You're going to have a reaction out by the time we finish this, correct?
Oh, yes. You're damn right I will.
Well, there we go. I think,
and it's a big time song. I haven't heard it at all yet. You've heard it. I have not heard it.
Yes. It is a big time song. We'll say that.
Yes.
Big time.
So make sure that you go to that YouTube. You can comment there. Tell us what you want to hear. You could also go to our Instagram at outonthatline. You could go to our Twitter at outonthatline1. You could go to our email, outonthatline@gmail.com. Send us what you want to hear. Tell us what you're listening to. And we want to know, because the more that we do that you're interested in, the more you're going to listen. And that's good for us. That's good for you. It's a win-win. Just tell us what you want to hear. And anything else, Alex? Last chance.
I'm just going to go listen to Tall Guys a bunch of times.
well, maybe I'll see you next week. Maybe not.
Yeah, well, hang on for dear life.
Check the obituaries, folks. And until next time.